Wide range of emotions yesterday in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Bama 49, Arkansas 26. Imagine being the person who, as halftime approached, decided, I'm going to run to the store right quick. I'm going to go get something to eat right quick. The last thing you saw before you left the house was Bama leading 28-0. And then you get back, and they're up, 49-23 or 26, and you say, oh, I didn't really miss much. While you were gone, this thing got to 28-23 in the fourth quarter. There was a 3rd and 15 where Bama was on their own 20-yard line, and Arkansas's got all the momentum in the world, and Jalen Milroe, he could have run to Little Rock if he wanted to. Point being, this thing was in the balance. Everything, if I were to ask you Friday that you would have told me Arkansas needed for an upset, happened. This is really impressive for Alabama. Really, it's not a flawless performance, but when you consider what happened here, think about it. If I were to ask you Friday, hey, lay out the scenario, give me a few bullet points. What would Arkansas need for an upset? Well, it certainly wouldn't hurt their efforts if Bama was without Bryce Young. Bryce Young missed the entire second half and a lot of the first half here. They recovered an onside kick. Bama had probably the worst snap in the modern era on punt team that gave Arkansas a very, very short field that they scored on. Bama had over 100 yards in penalties. Everything Arkansas needed in that upset recipe was present yesterday. And yet Bama still won, and they still covered, and it just seems so weird. It was like 3 or 4 different versions of the game got rolled into one, so you saw a little bit of everything. But I get overly impressed with this kind of stuff, no matter who the team is. I think sometimes if you get the benefit of being able to do what we do, which is go to a game every week, you develop this ultra high sense of appreciation for teams that win on the road. Home field advantage is one of those things that's talked about a lot, but it's not overrated. If anything, it's underrated. There are some other things in this game that are talked about a lot, and they're way overrated. Playing college football on the road is just hard to do. It's really hard. Kirby Smart was talking about it last night, and he's not wrong. A lot of people scoff and dismiss it. Oh, it's only Missouri. You get everyone's Super Bowl, man. You get everyone's fastball. That includes the crowd. I'm there for all the big games, so I know how much louder those places are than they normally are. Anyway, if you are without the Heisman Trophy winner and you go into a place where that team's back's against the wall and they're a very talented team, and at the end of the day, I can't even tell the difference on the scoreboard. I can't even tell that you were missing Bryce Young because you still hung half a hundo on Arkansas. That stuff impresses me. So that's the way I saw that. I mean, padlock stat's pretty obvious. If Bama's hanging 7.5 yards per carry on you, Bama's going to beat you. Kobe Prentice, Isaiah Bond, JoJo Earl. 3 names I want to just keep on your radar. Because a couple of weeks ago, we had a question on the show about how Bama didn't have speed or the ability to separate after the Texas game. Remember that? Remember when receivers couldn't get open? That part was true. Receivers weren't getting open. But then the follow-up, which I thought was flawed, was Bama doesn't have enough speed at receiver. They can't get separation. No. 2 different things there. They didn't get separation against Texas. They got all the speed in the world. The speed's not a problem there. And if you watched players like Kobe Prentice yesterday, if you watch, Jahmyr Gibbs is a running back. Look at him. Could have also run to Little Rock several times yesterday. But Kobe Prentice, Isaiah Bond, they got JoJo Earl back yesterday. I haven't even mentioned Harrell, who they got from Louisville, who just hasn't been seen this year except on the back of milk cartons. They got plenty of speed. A lot of it's young. They got plenty of burners in that receiver room. That's why I told you that's not going to be an all-year problem for them. Now, it was the run game that carried them yesterday, which is what I want to focus on for a second, because they did this stuff. Jahmyr Gibbs is incredible. That's why we made such a big deal about him when he transferred from Georgia Tech. But they did this stuff absent Bryce Young and absent that wide receiver room really being able to carry the day. And it's because they ran for like half a mile on Arkansas. And it was a bad look for Arkansas in the second half. This is not the game that'll haunt Arkansas, though. Make no mistake about this. I was listening to our buddy Trey Biddy, and he characterized this the exact right way. If you were expecting Arkansas to beat Bama, you were kind of on an island there. But, man, them failing to beat A&M last week, that's what'll haunt them. But even having said that, last week or yesterday is not what's going to tell the tale with them. This coming week will. They go to Mississippi State. State has opened as around a 4 or a 5-point favorite. And that game is an early kick in Starkville. That has big-time implications and consequences for both teams, obviously. And you see on the schedule, it's irresponsible. It's egregious scheduling practice for Arkansas, but it is what it is. They go to Mississippi State. And then where do they go, friends? They go to Provo, Utah. No rest, back-to-back road games, and the second leg is in the mountains, in the Rockies, against Brigham Young. So, you know, you already put Cincinnati on there, and it wasn't enough, so we just had to throw Brigham Young on there for good measure. The defense in the second half for Arkansas has a lot of people fired up there, and it should, because for all intents and purposes, Alabama was one-dimensional, and that one dimension still just ran over you. It was a bad look, a really, really bad look. I take nothing away from Bama. It was a bad look for Arkansas. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. Make sure you like the video and please subscribe to the channel. Not just for me. That's how we keep this entire thing free.